Let yourself settle into this moment wherever you are, whatever comfort surrounds you now. There is no hurry, no urgency, only the invitation to rest and allow your breathing to slow, to deepen, to find its natural rhythm. Tonight, we travel together to a place of quiet, to a mountain house at the edge of winter, where simple tasks become meditations, and the work of making ready for cold nights carries its own peaceful satisfaction. The world outside can wait, all concerns and obligations left beyond this space, this time, these moments that belong only to rest. Picture, if you will, a valley high in the mountains where the air is thin and clear and the peaks rise white against a darkening sky. A single house stands in this valley, built of stone and timber, its windows beginning to glow with lamplight as afternoon fades toward evening. This house has stood through many winters, its walls thick and its roof sound, a shelter that knows its purpose. Inside, there is warmth and the scent of wood smoke, and someone is moving through rooms with quiet intention, preparing for the season's turn, making ready for the long nights that winter brings to these high places. We will spend this evening there, moving slowly through familiar tasks, sealing windows against the cold, stacking firewood for the fires that will burn through darkness, preparing simple food and tending the hearth. There is no drama in these actions, no conflict or tension, only the calm satisfaction of work done well and a house made ready for whatever weather may come. Let the rhythm of these preparations carry you deeper into rest, each small task a step further from waking concerns and closer to the peace that sleep provides. Your breathing slows with each word. Your body relaxes into whatever surface holds you, and you release the day's accumulated tensions with each exhalation. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be, only this journey into quietness and the promise of deep rest waiting at its end. The mountain house is ready to receive you, its fires burning low and steady, its walls holding warmth and safety, its rooms prepared for the night ahead. Let us begin. Tonight, we prepare the house for winter's arrival. The air outside carries the scent of frost and pine red, sharp and clean against the fading light of afternoon. We move through the rooms with quiet purpose, our footsteps soft on worn wooden floors that have known generations of similar preparations. The sun dips behind the mountain ridge early this time of year, leaving the valley in violet shadow, while the highest peaks still catch golden light. There is no hurry in our movements, only the steady rhythm of hands that know this work well. The house itself seems to settle deeper into its stone foundation, ready to hold warmth through the long night. We begin with the windows, checking each frame for gaps where the Alpine wind might slip through when darkness falls. The first window we approach faces north, toward the glacier valley. Its wooden frame is made of larch, a wood chosen by mountain builders for its resistance to the harsh seasons. The timber came from trees that grew slowly at high altitude, their dense grain making them nearly impervious to rot and weather. We run our fingers along the sill, feeling for any looseness in the seal, any place where the cold might find entrance. The glass is old, slightly wavy, casting gentle distortions of the darkening sky beyond. Outside, the first snowflakes of the season begin to drift down, so light they seem to float rather than fall. We take a length of wool felt from the basket beside us, soft and thick, dyed the color of autumn moss. In these mountain valleys, felt made from local sheep has sealed windows for centuries. The wool comes from hardy breeds that graze the high meadows in summer, their fleece dense enough to shed rain and resist wind. Village women gather in autumn to card and press the wool into thick sheets, their hands working the fibers until they mat together in layers. The felt carries a faint smell of lanolin and mountain herbs, rosemary and thyme from the meadows where the sheep wandered. We press it gently into the gap between frame and wall, tucking it carefully with a flat wooden tool smoothed by years of use. The felt compresses and holds, creating a barrier that will keep the wind's whisper outside while allowing the wood to breathe as it must. We move to the eastern window, the one that looks toward. This window catches the first light of morning when it comes, though in deep winter that light arrives late and leaves early. The frame here is painted a soft blue, a color traditional to mountain houses because it is said to welcome good fortune and keep malevolent spirits at bay. The paint is made with pigment ground from local stone mixed with linseed oil, giving it a slight sheen that catches the lamplight. We check the hinges, old iron worked by a blacksmith in the village below, their surface bearing the marks of hammer blows and careful filing. Each hinge moves smoothly when we test it, well oiled and tended. The southern windows need less sealing as they face the protected side of the house where a stand of ancient fir trees breaks the wind. Still, we check them carefully, running our hands along every joint and corner. These windows are larger, designed to let in as much winter sunlight as possible during the brief hours when the sun crosses the southern sky. The wooden shutters that fold back during the day will be closed tight each night, adding another layer of protection against the cold. We oil the shutter hinges with a mixture of beeswax and pine resin, a combination that resists freezing even in the deepest cold. The scent rises sweet and clean as we work, mixing with the smell of wood smoke beginning to drift from the chimney. Through the western windows, we can see the wood pile will tend to. The stack rises against the exterior wall, each log carefully placed to allow air circulation while shedding snow. The wood was cut last spring and has dried through the summer and autumn, ready now to burn clean and hot through winter nights. We finish sealing the last window and pause for a moment, looking out at the mountains that surround our valley. Their peaks are already white with snow that will spring. The sky darkens from violet to deep blue, and the first stars begin to appear in the east. We light a lamp, its flame steady behind clean glass, and prepare to go outside to check the firewood. The door opens onto the evening with a soft creak of hinges. Cold air flows in carrying the scent of snow and wood smoke from other houses in the valley. We pull our wool jackets closer and step out onto the flagstone path that leads around the house to where the firewood is stacked. The stones are smooth under our feet, worn by countless journeys just like this one. Above, the sky has deepened to the color of slate, and more stars appear with each moment. The mountain air is so clear that the stars seem close enough to touch, their light sharp and unwavering. We hear the distant sound of a stream, still running before the deepest cold locks it in ice, its voice a constant murmur beneath the silence. The woodpile comes into view, a wall of split logs stacked with care. We built this pile in layers, the largest pieces at the bottom, each successive row slightly smaller, the whole stack rising to head height. The wood is mostly larch and pine, with some birch for kindling and a few pieces of oak saved for the coldest night. Each piece was split by hand, the axe biting clean through the grain, the wood falling apart with a satisfying crack. Now we run our hands over the logs, checking that they are dry and sound, that the bark is loose and ready to shed, that no moisture has crept in during the autumn rains. The wood feels solid and dry, slightly rough against our palms, ready to burn with steady heat. We select a few pieces to bring inside, enough for the evening and the night ahead. We gather an armful of wood, choosing each piece with the knowledge that comes from years of tending fire. The larch pieces are light and dry, their wood pale gold in the fading light, marked with the spiral patterns of knots that tell the story of their growth. Pine logs are heavier, their resin still fragrant even after months of drying, promising a clean flame and steady heat. We select a few pieces of birch for starting the fire later, their white bark curling away from the wood in papery layers that catch flame easily. The weight of the wood in our arms is substantial but comfortable, a good burden that speaks of warmth to come. We turn back toward the house, our breath visible now in the cooling air, small clouds that dissipate quickly in the evening breeze. The path back to the door is familiar even in the dimming light. We have walked it countless times in all seasons and all weathers until our feet know every slight rise and dip in the stone. The flagstones were quarried from the mountainside generations ago, cut and fitted by hands long gone, their work enduring through decades of frost and thaw. Each stone bears the marks of its making, chisel marks softened by time and weather, small fossils visible in the gray surface where ancient shells once rested in prehistoric seas. We step carefully, mindful of the wood in our arms, and reach the door just as the last direct light fades from the valley floor. The lamp we left burning inside glows warm through the window, a beacon of comfort against the gathering dark. Inside, the house embraces us with its familiar warmth. We close the door softly behind us, shutting out the cold and the night, and carry the wood to the hearth. The fireplace dominates the main room, built of local stone fitted together without mortar, each rock chosen for its shape and held in place by the weight of those above. The technique is ancient here, taught from builder to builder across generations, resulting in chimneys that draw perfectly and hold heat long after the fire has died to embers. We stack the wood beside the hearth, placing each piece with care so that the pile stands stable and the wood remains accessible throughout the night. The birch bark crackles softly as we handle it, already dry enough to whisper of flame. The hearth itself is swept clean from the morning's fire, only a fine layer of ash remaining on the stone floor. We take a moment to arrange kindling in the firebox, small twigs and wood shavings that will catch easily from a single match. The wood shavings curl like ribbons, pale and delicate, smelling of fresh resin. We add small pieces of pine neck, building a careful structure that allows air to flow through while supporting the larger logs that will follow. This is a skill learned young in the mountains, the art of building a fire that will light reliably and burn steadily through the hours ahead. Our hands move with practiced certainty, placing each piece where it will serve best. In mountain houses, the evening fire is more than warmth. It is the heart of the home, the gathering place where families have sat for generations, watching flames dance and listening to the wind out. The stone hearth absorbs heat during the burning and radiates it back through the night, keeping the room warm even while everyone sleeps. Old stories tell of hearth spirits that protect the house, friendly presences that appreciate a well-tended fire and a clean sweep. Whether spirits dwell here or not, the hearth certainly holds memory, the accumulated warmth of countless winter nights when fire pushed back the darkness and cold. We strike a match, and the sound is sharp and small in the quiet room. The flame catches the birch bark instantly, running along the curled edges with eager light. Yellow and orange brightness blooms in the fireplace, and we watch as the fire finds the kindling. Then the smaller pine, growing from tentative flickers to confident flames. The light fills the room, casting dancing shadows on the walls and ceiling, bringing this with movement. Heat begins to radiate outward almost immediately, and we feel it on our hands and faces, a gentle warmth that will soon fill the entire room. The fire crackles softly, a sound as old as human habitation, as comforting as any lullaby. We add larger pieces of wood now, placing them carefully on the growing fire. The larch logs catch quickly, their dense wood burning hot and clean. Smoke rises up the chimney in a steady column, drawn by the perfect draft of the old stonework. The smell of burning wood fills the room, sweet and slightly resinous, mixing with the lingering scents of felt and beeswax from our earlier work. We settle into a chair near the hearth, close enough to feel the warmth, but not so close as to be uncomfortable. The fire burns steadily now, needing no more attention for a while, doing its work of heating the house and pushing back the cold night. The room around us takes on a different character in fire. Shadows soften the corners and make the ceiling seem higher, while the flames pick out details in the wood grain of the furniture, the texture of the stone walls, the woven pattern of the rug on the floor. Everything seems more present and more peaceful at once, as if the fire's light reveals the true nature of familiar things. We hear the wind picking up outside, a low sound that makes the warmth inside feel even more precious. The windows we sealed earlier hold firm, no drafts disturbing the steady heat. The house stands secure around us, ready for winter, ready for the long nights that will come, ready to shelter and sustain through the cold months ahead. The fire settles into a steady rhythm, each log finding its place in the dance of flame and ember. We remain in the for a time, watching the fire do its work, feeling the warmth spread through the room like water filling a vessel. The heat reaches the far corners gradually, chasing away the chill that crept in during the day while we worked outside. Our breathing slows to match the fire's cadence, deep and even, and we feel the tension of the day's preparations ease from our shoulders. Outside, full darkness has arrived, the kind of complete darkness that only exists in mountain valleys far from cities, where the night is absolute except for starlight and the occasional glow of a neighbor's window. After a time, we rise and move to the kitchen to prepare a simple meal. The kitchen occupies the back of the house, separated from the main room by a wide doorway that allows heat to flow through. A cast iron stove stands against the wall, its surface still warm from the afternoon's baking. We add a few pieces of wood to its firebox, smaller pieces that will burn quickly and bring the cooking surface to the right temperature. The stove is old, made in a foundry in the valley 2 generations ago. Its iron decorated with simple geometric patterns that speak of the Art Nouveau period when it was cast. It has cooked thousands of meals and will cook thousands more. Its heavy construction designed to last lifetimes. Mountain cooking has always been practical, focused on foods that sustain through long winters and hard work. We take down a pot from its hook on the wall, heavy copper lined with tin, polished bright from years of use. The copper was mined from veins in these very mountains, smelted and hammered into shape by craftsmen who understood how metal should behave under the hammer. Copper conducts heat perfectly, allowing food to cook evenly without burning, and the tin lining prevents any metallic taste from reaching the meal. We fill the pot with water from the stone cistern near the door, water that comes from a spring higher on the mountain, cold and pure, and tasting faintly of minerals from the rock through which it flows. Into the pot we place vegetables from the root cellar, potatoes with their earthy smell, carrots still sweet despite months of storage, onions that make our eyes water gently. We peel away their papery skin. We add dried beans that soaked overnight, swelling to twice their size and now ready to cook, tender. A handful of dried herbs from the summer garden goes in next. Thyme and bay and marjoram, their scent rising sharp and green when crushed between our fingers. The pot goes onto the stove, and we hear the first quiet sounds of water beginning to heat, tiny bubbles forming on the bottom of the copper. This soup will simmer slowly, filling the house with its savory smell, ready to eat when hunger comes. While the soup cooks, we turn our attention to bread. A loaf baked yesterday sits on the wooden cutting board, its crust dark and crackling, its interior dense with a grain of mountain wheat. Wheat grown at high altitude produces smaller yields but stronger flavor, the grain developing character from the intense sunlight and cool nights. We slice the bread with a knife sharpened that morning, the blade cutting clean through the firm crust. Each slice falls away perfect and even, releasing a smell of yeast and grain that mingles with the herbs from the soup. We spread butter on the bread, butter churned from cream that came from cows grazing the Alpine meadows, rich and yellow from the wildflowers and grasses they eat. The evening settles around us with the weight of comfortable routine. We move between kitchen and main room, checking the fire, stirring the soup, adjusting the stove's damper to maintain the right heat. These small tasks require no thought, only the body's memory of having done them countless times before. The house is warm now, thoroughly warm. The sealed windows and the two fires working together to create an envelope of comfort against the winter night. Through the window, we see snow falling more steadily, flakes catching the light from our windows before disappearing into darkness. The snow will continue through the night, we think, covering the valley in white side, transforming the familiar landscape into something precise and new. We set a single place at the table near the fire, laying out a simple earthenware bowl and a wooden spoon worn smooth by years of. The table itself is made of thick planks of mountain pine, its surface scrubbed pale and marked with the small cuts and stains that come from daily use. Tables like this are built to last generations, their construction simple but strong, heavy enough to stand firm and solid enough to bear any burden. We light a second lamp and place it on the table, its flame steady behind glass, casting a circle of warm light. The soup is ready now, fragrant and steaming, and we ladle it carefully into the bowl, watching vegetables tumble into the thick broth. We eat slowly, savoring each spoonful, the soup warming us from within while the fire warms us from without. The flavors are simple and good, the kind of honest taste that comes from real food prepared without haste. Between bites, we tear pieces from the buttered bread, dipping them in the soup, the bread absorbing the broth and softening to perfect texture. Outside, the wind rises slightly, making the snow dance in elaborate patterns past the window. But inside, all is calm and warm and peaceful. The fire burns low and steady, the lamps glow golden, and the house stands firm around us, doing what it was built to do: shelter life from the elements, provide warmth and safety through the darkest nights, hold peace within its walls while winter rages beyond. The meal finished, we clear the table with the same unhurried movements that have marked the entire evening. The bowl and spoon go into a basin of warm water heated on the stove. Soap made from tallow and ash turning the water cloudy and soft. We wash each piece carefully, feeling the warmth of the water on, then dry everything with a linen towel that hangs near the stove. The towel is woven from flax grown in the valley, its fibers strong and absorbent, whitened by summer sun and winter snow in the old way. Each dish returns to its place on the bowl stacked with others of its kind, the spoon hanging from a wooden rack where morning light will find it, order maintained, small rituals, the kitchen ready for tomorrow's. We return to the main room where the fire has burned down to a bed of glowing coals, deep red and orange, pulsing gently with retained heat. This is the perfect time to add the night logs, the larger pieces that will burn slowly through the dark hours, maintaining warmth without needing constant attention. We select 2 pieces of oak from the stack, dense wood that burns hot and long, saved for nights like this when we want the fire to last until dawn. The oak came from lower elevations, brought up the mountain paths on carts in autumn, traded for cheese and wool from the Alpine herders. Its grain is tight and dark, and it releases heat steadily as it burns, coal-like in its endurance. We place the oak logs carefully on the coals, positioning them to allow airflow while ensuring they catch flame gradually. The coals respond immediately, their glow brightening where the wood touches them, and within moments, small flames begin to lick along the underside of the logs. The fire will build slowly from here, reaching a steady burn that will maintain itself for hours. We adjust the flue slightly, ensuring the draw is correct for a long slow, and settle back to watch the transfer. Fire has its own patience, its own timing, and we have learned to work with it rather than rushing it. The room fills with the deeper, richer smell of oak burning, different from the bright scent of pine, more substantial and lasting. In these mountains, the relationship between people and fire goes back to the first settlement. Archaeological digs in nearby caves have found hearths dating back thousands of years, blackened stones arranged in circles where ancient fires warmed ancient people through Ice Age winters. The mountains have always demanded fire for survival, and mountain people have always honored that demand with careful tending and respect. Every child learns young how to build a fire, how to read smoke and flame, how to know when to add wood and when to let coals rest. It is knowledge passed hand to hand, generation to generation, as essential as knowing which plants are edible or which paths are safe in snow. We move to check the other preparations for night. The lamps are filled with oil, their wicks trimmed and clean, ready to burn through evening hours if needed. We keep one lamp burning low on the table, enough light to navigate the room safely, but not so bright as to disturb the fire's dominance. The second lamp we extinguish, conserving oil for when it will be truly needed. The smell of the spent wick drifts through the room, a brief, sharp note that fades quickly into the background of wood smoke and warmth. Through the sealed windows, we hear the wind carrying snow against the glass, a soft, persistent sound, like sand being poured. But inside the sound is muffled and distant, no threat. We take down a basket of mending that is waited for in busier days. Simple, sewing a button back on, darning a sock, repairing a tee. Our hands move steadily in the lamplight, needle pulling thread through fabric, each stitch small and even. The thread is linen, strong and smooth, waxed slightly to help it slide through the heavy wool without catching. Mending is meditative work, requiring attention but not intense concentration, allowing the mind to rest while the hands stay occupied. The fire crackles occasionally as pockets of resin in the oak and flare briefly, painting moving shadows on the walls. Mountain households waste nothing, and clothing is mended and remended until it can serve no more. then cut into rags for cleaning, then finally burned to add its last bit of warmth to a winter fire. Wool especially is precious, each garment representing hours of work, from shearing to spinning to knitting or weaving. The sheep that provide the wool are themselves investments of time and care, grazing the high meadows in summer, sheltered in barns below the house in winter, their presence marked by the occasional sound of bells even now in the darkness. We finish the mending and fold each piece neatly, returning it to the basket that will go back to its shelf in the morning. The evening deepens around us, time losing its sharp edges in the firelight and warmth. We are not tired yet, but we feel the day's work settling into our muscles, a pleasant heaviness that speaks of effort well spent. The house is secure, the windows sealed, the wood stacked and ready, the fire tended, the meal eaten, the small repairs completed. Everything is in order, everything in its place, the household prepared for whatever the night and the coming winter might bring. We lean back in the chair, feeling the solid wood support our weight, and watch the fire dance through its eternal patterns, never the same twice, always hypnotic and always comforting in its constant change. We reach for a book from the shelf beside the hearth, one of a small collection kept for winter evenings when darkness comes early and stays late. The volume is bound in worn leather, its pages soft from handling, the text printed in clear type that reads easily by lamplight. This particular book is a collection of Alpine folk tales, stories passed down through generations before anyone thought to write them down, now preserved between covers for safekeeping. We open to a familiar tale, one we have read before but which bears reading again, about a shepherd who found a crystal cave high in the mountains and the patient wisdom he learned there. The words flow gently, unhurried, matching the pace of the evening perfectly. The language of the book is the old dialect of these valleys, slightly different from modern speech, but still comprehensible, full of words that exist nowhere else. Some terms describe specific mountain phenomena that lowland languages never needed to name. The particular quality of light when storm clouds gather around peaks, the sound of rockfall on a distant slope, the texture of snow at different temperatures and altitudes. These words carry generations of observation, each one a small piece of accumulated knowledge about living in harmony with the mountains. We read slowly, savoring the familiar cadence, occasionally glancing up to watch the fire or listen to the wind outside, then returning to the page. The chair where we sit was made by a carpenter in the valley 3 generations past, its construction simple but perfectly suited to its purpose. The seat is wide enough for comfort, the back angled just right to support long sitting, the arms smooth from countless hands resting on them. The wood is cherry, which grows in the lower valleys where the climate is slightly gentler, its grain close, and its color deepening to rich red-brown with age. Chairs like this appear in almost every mountain home, their design refined over centuries until nothing unnecessary remains, only what serves. We shift slightly, finding the perfect position, and continue reading as the fire burns steady and low. Time passes unmeasured, marked only by the gradual consumption of the oak logs and the turning of pages. The snow outside continues, visible through the window, a constant gentle motion in the darkness, flakes appearing in the lamplight's reach and then vanishing. We hear occasional sounds from the mountain, a branch breaking under snow's weight somewhere in the forest, the distant call of an owl hunting in the darkness, the wind shifting direction and changing its voice against the house walls. Each sound is distinct in the winter silence, arriving clear and complete. then fading back into the larger quietness. The house itself makes small sounds as it adjusts to the temperature difference between inside and outside. Timber creaking softly, stones settling, all the minor adjustments of a living structure. We close the book eventually, marking our place with a length of ribbon sewn into the binding and set it aside on the table. The tale can wait for another evening. There is no rush to finish it, and part of its pleasure lies in the anticipation of returning to it. We rise and move to the window, looking out at the transformed landscape. Snow has covered everything now, smoothing the meadow into an unbroken white expanse, weighing down the pine branches until they sag toward the ground, outlining every fence post and rock wall. The world outside looks like a different place from the one we saw, reshaped by winter's hand into something both familiar and new, recognizable, transfigured. In the mountains, snow is both blessing and challenge, bringing water for spring and summer, but also isolating communities and making travel difficult or impossible. The old houses were built with this in mind, positioned to shed snow from roofs while protecting entrances, with storage enough to last months if necessary, with independence bred into their very design. Our house stands as it has stood through countless winters, its thick walls and tight construction proof against weather, its stores of food and fuel adequate for whatever comes. We feel no anxiety about the snow, only a quiet satisfaction in being prepared, in having done the work required to meet winter on equal terms. We check the fire one more time, ensuring the oak logs are positioned correctly, that the coals beneath them glow bright and steady. The heat radiating from the hearth is substantial now, the stones warm to the touch, the air above the fire shimmering slightly with rising warmth. We add one more log, a medium piece of larch that will burn through the middle hours of the night, keeping the coals alive for morning. The fire accepts this new fuel with a soft settling sound, flames curling around it, beginning their patient work of consumption. Satisfied, we turn the lamp down lower, reducing the flame until only a small golden glow remains, enough to find our way if needed, but not enough to compete with the fire's light. The room settles into its night configuration, shadows deepening in the corners, the ceiling lost in darkness, all attention drawn to the hearth, where flame and ember paint their endless variations on the theme of light. We remain standing for a moment, simply present with the space we have prepared, feeling the warmth on our face and hands, hearing the fire's soft conversation with itself, smelling the complex mixture of wood smoke and lamp oil and the faint scent of wool and stone that is the house's own. Everything is ready, everything is well, and the night can unfold as it will while we rest secure within walls that know their purpose and fulfill it faithfully, as they have done for all the years they have stood, as they will continue to do for years. We move toward the sleeping area, a room at the back of the house where the warmth from both fires reaches but does not overwhelm. The door to this room stands open during the day to allow heat circulation, but now we close it partially, leaving just enough gap for warmth to enter, while creating a sense of enclosure and privacy. The bedroom is simple, furnished with only what is necessary. A wide bed built into an alcove in the wall, a small table beside it, a chest for linens at the foot. The bed itself is a traditional Alpine box bed, its sides and back enclosed by wooden panels that help trap warmth and create a sheltered space within the larger room. Such beds have been used in mountain houses for centuries, their design responding perfectly to the challenge of staying warm through cold nights. The bed linens we pull back are heavy and substantial, made to insulate as much as to comfort. The bottom sheet is linen, woven tight and smooth, cool to the touch now, but quick to warm from body heat. Over this lie wool blankets, 3 of them, each woven from different weights of yarn. The first is light, the second medium, the third heavy as a coat, and together they create layers of trapped air that hold warmth better than any single thick covering could. The blankets smell faintly of lavender, sprigs of which were laid between them when they were stored last spring. Lavender grows in the sunny corners of mountain gardens, its purple flowers beloved by bees, its scent said to promote restful sleep and pleasant dreams. We smooth the blankets with our hands, straightening creases and ensuring even coverage across the bed. At the head, pillows stuffed with down from mountain geese wait soft and full. The geese are raised in the valley, spending their days on the pond near the mill, their white feathers gathered twice a year through patient plucking that harms them not at all. Down is lighter than any other filling and warmer, each tiny feather branching into countless smaller filaments that trap air and create insulation that seems almost miraculous. We plump the pillows, feeling them compress and then expand again, ready to cradle our head through the night. A quilt lies folded at the foot of the bed. Additional warmth if the night grows especially cold, pieced together from scraps of old clothing and blankets in traditional Alpine patterns. Before settling for sleep, we perform the last small tasks of the day. We visit the kitchen once more to bank the cooking fire in the stove, covering the coals with ash so they will burn slowly and stay alive until morning, when we will revive them with kindling and breath. The technique is old as cooking itself, allowing fire to rest without dying completely, saving the work of starting anew each day. The coals glow briefly as we work, then disappear beneath their blanket of ash, their light hidden, but their heat continuing. We close the stove's door and adjust its vents, ensuring the metal will cool slowly and safely through the night. Water for morning stands ready in a pitcher on the kitchen table, drawn from the cistern before we began preparing for bed. Mountain water is so cold year-round that it needs no refrigeration, staying fresh and sweet for days. We take a small cup of it now, drinking slowly, tasting the faint mineral notes that speak of the rock formations through which the spring water traveled. The water is so cold it makes our teeth ache slightly, but it is clean and pure, exactly as water should be. We rinse the cup and leave it to dry beside the pitcher, then make our way back through the main room where the fire has burned down to deep coals again, glowing red and orange, radiating steady heat into the darkness. The main room fire will tend itself through the night now, the oak logs burning so slowly that they will still show flame at dawn. We check the hearth screen one more time, ensuring it stands secure in front of the firebox, preventing any stray spark from escaping onto the floor. The screen is wrought iron, made by the same smith who forged the window hinges, its surface decorated with a simple pattern of leaves and branches. It has stood before this fire for decades, its iron darkened by smoke and heat, but sound and strong. We adjust the lamp on the table, turning it down to the merest glow. A tiny flame will burn through the night without consuming much oil, providing just enough light to navigate safely. The house feels different now in the deep evening, more inward focused, as if drawing its attention away from the outside world and turning it toward the small, warm center where we prepare for rest. Every sound seems softer, every shadow gentler, the firelight painting everything in shades of amber. We stand in the center of the room, simply breathing, feeling the weight of the completed day settle onto us. Additional blanket. Outside, the wind has diminished to almost nothing, and the snow falls straight down in the still air, silent. The valley will be transformed by morning, all familiar landmarks softened and redefined by white covering. But that is tomorrow's. Tonight belongs to warmth and the steady protection of walls and fire. We make our way to the bedroom, leaving the door open just as firelight reaches in, a dim, warm glow. The bed welcomes us, its linens cool at first touch, but warming quickly as we settle beneath the layered blankets. The wooden panels of the box bed surround us on three sides, creating a small sheltered world within the room, and we feel immediately embraced by, held safe and warm. Our head sinks into the down pillow, soft, supportive, and we pull the blankets up our chin, feeling their substantial weight settle over us. The lavender scent rises faintly, mixed with the smell of clean linen and wool, and beneath it all the distant scent of wood smoke from the main room's fire, a smell that means home and safety and winter nights survived in comfort. We lie still, letting our body adjust to the horizontal position after a day spent mostly upright and moving. Muscles relax gradually, releasing the small tensions accumulated through work and walking, and we feel ourselves sinking deeper into the mattress. The mattress itself is filled with wool and dried mountain grasses, herbs that were gathered in late summer when they held the most fragrance. Chamomile and sweet woodruff are mixed in, plants known for their calming property, their scent released faintly by the weight and warmth of our body. The combination creates a sleeping surface that is both supportive and soft, firm enough to maintain alignment, but yielding enough for comfort. We shift slightly, finding the exact right position, and feel the bed embrace us completely. Through the partially open door, we can see the fire's glow pulsing gently in the main room. The light flickers and dims and brightens again as the flames find new wood to casting moving shadows that dance across the visible portion of floor and wall. These shadows are not frightening, but comforting, evidence of the fire's continued work, its faithful maintenance of warmth through the dark hours. We watch them for a while, our eyes half closed, following their patterns without trying to make sense of them, simply allowing them to be. The rhythm of the flames is irregular, but somehow soothing, like watching waves on a shore or leaves moving in a breeze, patterns found in nature that quiet the thinking mind. Outside, the snow continues its patient accumulation. We cannot see it from where we lie, but we sense it, knowing the valley is being steadily covered, every surface receiving its layer of white. The snow will be deep enough by morning to muffle all sound, creating the peculiar silence that comes after a heavy snowfall when the world seems wrapped in softness and even footsteps make no sound. For now, we hear only the faintest whisper of flakes against the window glass, so soft it is almost imagined, more a change in the quality of silence than an actual sound. The sealed windows hold firm, no cold entering, the temperature in the bedroom perfect for deep sleep. Our breathing slows naturally, each breath deeper and more regular than the last. We inhale the mingled scents of lavender and wool and smoke, and exhale slowly, feeling tension leave with each outward breath. The technique is unconscious, our body knowing what it needs, no effort required. Alpine communities have long recognized the importance of proper sleep, especially in winter when darkness lasts so many hours and the body needs rest to maintain warmth and health. The old people say that winter sleep is deeper and more restorative than summer sleep, that the body uses the long, dark hours to repair and strengthen itself, preparing for the work spring will bring. Whether this is true or simply tradition, Sleep certainly comes easily in a warm bed after a day of honest work. We feel the weight of the blankets pressing down, a gentle, constant pressure that is deeply comforting. Some say this weight helps the body relax by providing gentle feedback that we are safe and grounded, not floating or exposed. The heaviest blanket lies on top, its wool thick and substantial, woven so tightly that it sheds water like a roof and holds warmth like a wall. Beneath it, the lighter blankets create layers, and between each layer, air is trapped, still and warming. Our feet, which were cold when we first entered the bed, have warmed completely now. The heat generated by our core spreading to extremities, ensuring comfort from head to toe. We wiggle our toes slightly, luxuriating in the warmth, then let them rest again. The pillow supports our head at exactly the right angle, neither too high nor too flat, allowing the neck to relax completely. Down has this remarkable quality of molding itself to whatever shape is needed while still providing support, each tiny feather adjusting independently to create perfect comfort. We turn our head slightly, finding the coolest spot on the pillowcase, and feel the smooth linen against our. The texture is pleasant, softened by many washings, but still with enough body to feel substantial. Through our skin, we can feel the slight give of the down beneath, resilient and soft. Our eyes close fully now, no longer watching the distant fire, turning inward instead toward the darkness behind our eyelids where sleep waits. Small sounds reach us from the house and the night, each one distinct and unthreatening. A log settles in the fire with a soft, sending up a brief shower of we cannot see but somehow sense. The house timbers creak as they adjust to the night temperatures, wood contracting minutely in the cold, creating sounds like quiet conversation in a distant room. The wind has picked up slightly again, but it is still gentle, more a breath than a blow, and it carries with it the sound of snow sliding from an overburdened branch somewhere in the forest. Each sound arrives, registers, and fades, requiring nothing from us, demanding no response. We are observers now, passive and peaceful, allowing the world to continue its business while we withdraw from dissipation into rest. Our thoughts begin to drift, losing their linear quality, becoming more like images or feelings than words. We think of the sealed windows, the stacked wood, the banked fire, all the preparations completed successfully. We think of the soup we ate, the warmth of the water when we washed the dishes, the texture of wool under our fingers while mending. These thoughts have no urgency, no importance. They simply float through awareness like leaves on a slow stream, appearing and disappearing without effort. Some part of us notices them, acknowledges them, lets them go. Sleep is very close now, waiting just beyond the edge of consciousness, and we feel ourselves drifting toward it with each breath, each heartbeat, each moment of lying warm and safe in the bed our ancestors designed to hold sleepers through mountain winters, generation after generation after generation. Sleep arrives not as a sudden darkness, but as a gradual dimming. Consciousness, fading like lamplight, turned down degree by degree till only the smallest glow remains. We are aware of the bed beneath us, the blankets above us, the warmth surrounding us. But these sensations become distant, observed from far away, as if we are slowly separating from the physical world. Our breathing has achieved its slowest rhythm now, deep and even, each breath taking many seconds, and in the spaces between breaths there is only stillness and silence. The body knows this state well, has returned to it thousands of times, and it settles into sleep with the ease of long practice, no resistance, no hesitation, only the natural progression from waking to rest. Dreams begin to form at the edges of consciousness, not yet full narratives, but impressions and images without clear meaning. We see snow falling through darkness, each flake distinct and perfect in its crystalline structure. We see firelight reflected in window glass, creating doubled images that shimmer and shift. We see the wood pile against the house wall, each log in its place, a geometry of stored sunlight waiting to be released. These images have no emotion attached to them. They simply are, arising and dissolving like bubbles in still water. We do not question them to interpret them. We simply witness them with detached curiosity, already half dreaming, already more asleep than awake. The house continues its vigil around us, its walls solid and its roof secure, holding back the winter night while we rest within its protection. The fires burn according to their nature, consuming wood and producing warmth, asking nothing, requiring nothing, simply doing what fire does when properly tended. The snow accumulates according to its nature, falling and settling, building its white architecture grain by grain. The night progresses according to its nature, hours pass, ordered sequence, darkness maintaining its hold until the appointed time when dawn will return. Everything moves in its proper pattern, each element of the world following ancient laws that need no enforcement, only in mountain valleys. Winter nights have always been times of rest and restoration. The old agricultural calendar recognized this, planning work to end before deep winter arrived, allowing people to turn inward during the darkest months, conserving energy and emerging renewed when spring returned. Modern life has tried to eliminate the natural rhythm of seasons, keeping the same pace year-round, but the mountains still remember the old way, and houses like ours still honor it. We sleep now as our ancestors slept, trusting the fire to burn and the walls to hold and the night to pass safely, as it has passed safely for all the generations who rested in this valley before us. Our body temperature has found its equilibrium now, warm enough for perfect comfort, but not so warm as to cause restlessness. The blankets perform their designed function flawlessly, holding heat close while allowing just enough air circulation to prevent overheating. Wool has this remarkable ability to regulate temperature, keeping the body comfortable across a wide range of conditions, which is why mountain people have relied on it for clothing and bedding since sheep first arrived in these valleys centuries ago. The sheep themselves are asleep now in their barn below the house, their wool coats protecting them just as wool blankets protect us, the same material serving the same purpose across species boundaries. We are deeply asleep now, fully surrendered to rest, our consciousness withdrawn to wherever it goes during these hours of restoration. The body continues its autonomous functions without any direction from the waking mind. Heart beating, lungs filling and emptying, blood circulating, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every cell, removing waste, maintaining the complex balance is life. Digestion continues, the simple soup we ate being broken down and absorbed, its energy distributed to where it is needed. Muscles relax completely, releasing any remaining tension, allowing themselves to repair from the day's efforts. The brain cycles through its stages of each one serving a different restorative purpose, organizing memories and clearing unnecessary information, maintaining the vast network of connections that makes thought possible. The fire in the main room burns lower. The oak logs consumed to half their original size, but still solid and glowing. still producing warmth that radiates through the house. The coals beneath the logs are deep and stable, their heat steady and reliable, needing no attention until morning. The small lamp on the table flickers occasionally as air currents in the room shift, but its flame never falters, burning constant through the night. Outside, the snow has nearly stopped, only occasional flakes drifting down now, and the clouds are beginning to break apart, revealing patches of star-filled sky between them. The temperature continues to drop as it does on clear winter nights, but inside the temperature remains constant, all our preparations ensuring that the cold stays outside where it belongs. Hours pass, unmeasured and unnoticed, time having no meaning in sleep's country. The night reaches its deepest point, the hours furthest from both sunset and sunrise, when darkness is most complete and silence most profound. This is the time of deepest rest, when healing happens most effectively, when the body does its most important work of renewal and repair. We sleep through it all, unaware and undisturbed, held safe by walls and warmth and the accumulated wisdom of generations who learned how to survive and thrive in these mountains. The house stands faithful, the fires burn true, the blankets hold their warmth, and we rest within this nest of safety and comfort exactly as we prepared for, exactly as we intended when we began sealing windows and stacking firewood as afternoon faded toward evening, preparing the house for winter's long nights. The night moves toward its turning point, the hours when darkness begins its slow retreat, though dawn is still distant. We remain deep in sleep, unaware of time's passage, our body completely relaxed and our mind wandering through landscapes of dream that leave no memory upon wake. The sleep is restorative in the way that only truly deep sleep can be, the kind that leaves one feeling renewed rather than merely rested. In this state, the body performs its most essential maintenance, cells regenerating, systems rebalancing, the intricate machinery of life attending to itself with perfect precision. Nothing disturbs this process, no sound loud enough to wake us, no discomfort significant enough to draw us toward consciousness. We sleep as deeply as it is possible, surrendered completely to rest's embrace. The fire in the main room has burned down, the oak logs, now mostly consumed, reduced to glowing forms that barely hold their original shape. Yet, even in this diminished state, they produce warmth. The coals so hot and dense that heat continues to radiate steadily into the room. This is oak's particular gift, its ability to burn down to coals that hold temperature for hours, releasing energy so gradually that a single loading of wood can warm a house through an entire night. The hearthstones have absorbed this heat over the course of the evening and now release it back into the room, a secondary source of warmth that will continue even after the last coal dies. Stone has this thermal mass, this capacity to store heat and release it slowly, which is why mountain builders chose it for hearths and why these structures work so well. In the bedroom, the temperature remains perfect, warm enough for comfort, but cool enough that the blankets feel welcome rather than oppressive. Our face is exposed to the slightly cooler air while our body stays warm beneath the covers, a temperature differential that many find conducive to deep sleep. The air we breathe is fresh but not cold, carrying the faint scents of lavender and wool and the distant sweetness of wood smoke. Each breath is unconscious and automatic, our lungs filling and emptying in their steady rhythm, providing oxygen while removing carbon dioxide, the gas exchange that sustains life happening without any conscious direction. Our heart beats slowly, the rate that comes with deep rest, each beat strong and even, circulating blood through vessels and capillaries, maintaining pressure and flow throughout the system. Outside, the clouds have cleared almost completely now, and the sky is brilliant with stars. Without city lights to compete, the stars appear in their thousands, their light sharp and unwavering. In the cold, thin air, the Milky Way stretches across the sky, a river of light, its dusty band visible in detail that lowland skies never show. Constellations wheel slowly overhead, marking the passage of hours through their positions, ancient timepieces that mountain travelers have used for navigation since humans first came to these valleys. The snow on the ground reflects starlight, creating a dim illumination that makes the landscape visible even in the depths of night. Every tree and rock and fence post casts a faint shadow, multiple shadows actually, one for each bright star, all overlapping and crossing in complex paths. The cold intensifies, as it always does, under clear skies, heat radiating upward into space, unimpeded by clouds. The temperature outside has dropped well below freezing, the kind of cold that makes the snow squeak underfoot and turns breath to ice crystals in the air. But inside, behind sealed windows and thick walls, we remain unaware of this cold, protected by the preparations we made and the structure that shelters us. The house has survived colder nights than this, has stood through winter after winter when temperatures fell far below zero and snow piled high against the walls. It knows how to hold warmth, how to shed snow from its roof, how to endure whatever weather the mountains. We rest, trusting its strength and soundness. Conscious, the small lamp on the table in the main room continues to burn, its flame steady and small, consuming oil at a rate so slow that the reservoir will last several nights before needing refill. Lamp oil in the mountains is precious, usually made from rendered animal fat, imported olive oil, expensive and carefully conserved. This lamp uses the oil efficiently, its wick trimmed to exactly the right length, its chimney clean, so the flame burns bright and clear. The light it provides is golden and warm, creating a small circle of illumination in the larger darkness, a human presence in the night, evidence that people dwell here and maintain civilization's small flame against the vast indifference of the dreams. Continue their subtle weaving in images arising without narrative structure or emotional. We dream of snow falling, of fire burning, of the taste of bread and soup, of the feeling of wool under our hands. These dreams are gentle and meandering, lacking the intensity that sometimes marks the dream state, content to drift through pleasant memories and peaceful. There are no anxieties in these dreams, no fears or challenges, only the calm recollection of familiar things and comfortable sensations. This is the gift of a day well spent and a body well cared for. Sleep untroubled by stress or worry, dreams peaceful and restorative rather than disturbing. Time continues its patient advance toward morning, each minute passing in its turn, darkness maintaining its hold, but gradually losing intensity as the earth rotates toward the sun. This is the quietest part of night, after midnight's depth, but before dawn's approach, when even nocturnal animals rest and the world seems to pause between darkness and light. The house stands in this pause, warm and secure, sheltering sleep and protecting rest, fulfilling the purpose for which it was built. The fires burn low but faithful, the walls hold firm against the cold, the roof sheds its burden of snow, and inside, beneath blankets woven from mountain wool, we sleep the deep sleep of winter nights, restored and renewed, ready for whatever the coming day may bring, but for now simply and completely at rest. The night begins its slow transition toward morning, though dawn is still hours away. We remain in deep sleep, our breathing slow and even, our body completely relaxed beneath the layered blankets. The darkness outside is no longer absolute, a faint change in quality suggesting that somewhere beyond the mountains the sun is beginning its journey toward. Though it will not reach these high valleys, the stars still shine brilliantly overhead, but their light seems less dominant now, less complete. The house stands as it has stood all night, warm and secure, its fires burning low but steady, its walls holding firm against the cold. Everything is as it should be, everything in balance, the household resting peacefully through the final hours of darkness. The main room fire has burned down to deep coals now, barely glowing, but still radiating warmth into the space. These are the last hours of heat from the oak logs we placed so carefully before bed, their energy nearly exhausted, but still serving, still fulfilling their purpose. By morning, we will need to revive the fire, adding kindling and breath to wake the sleeping coals. But for now they ask nothing, simply holding their warmth and sharing it with the air. The stone hearth remains warm to the touch, its thermal mass releasing stored heat, ensuring the room stays comfortable even as the fire diminishes. This is the ancient partnership between fire and stone, each enhancing the other's ability to warm human habitations through cold nights. In the bedroom, we stir slightly, shifting position without waking, our body adjusting itself for continued comfort. The movement is automatic and unconscious, the body knowing what it needs and taking action without disturbing sleep's hold. We settle again immediately, finding a new position that feels even better than the last, and sink back into deep rest. The blankets shift with their weight redistributing, but never leaving us exposed, their warmth constant and embracing. The down pillow adjusts to our new head position, molding itself perfectly to provide continued support. Everything accommodates our need for rest, the bed and its coverings working together to maintain perfect sleeping conditions through all the small movements and adjustments of a long night. Outside, the first birds begin to call. Not the full dawn chorus yet, but the earliest scouts announcing that night will not last forever. An owl gives a final call before seeking its daytime roost, its hunting done for the night. Somewhere in the valley, a rooster clears its throat experimentally, testing whether it is time yet to proclaim the morning. These sounds are distant and muffled by snow and walls, reaching us as the faintest suggestions of noise, not enough to disturb sleep, but perhaps registering somewhere in the depths of our sleeping consciousness. The world outside is preparing for day while we continue in night's embrace, taking the rest we have earned through our preparations and our labor. Mountain mornings come slowly in winter, light increasing gradually over the course of hours, rather than arriving in a sudden rush. This allows for gentle waking, for transition rather than shock, for the body to emerge from sleep at its own pace. We are not ready to wake yet, and nothing demands that we do so. The house is secure, the fires are tended, the food is prepared, there is no urgency pressing on us. We can rest until natural waking comes, until our body has taken all the sleep it needs and returns us to consciousness, refreshed and restored. This is the gift of good preparation, the freedom to rest completely, knowing that everything necessary has been done and all is well. The sealed windows we worked on at evening's beginning hold perfectly, no drafts disturbing the careful temperature we have maintained. The wood we stacked stands ready for days and weeks of burning, fuel enough to last through whatever cold may come. The work we did was simple but essential, the small tasks that make the difference between comfort and hardship, between security and vulnerability. These preparations are repeated in every mountain house at this season. The same rituals performed in the same way. Generation teaching generation the skills needed to survive and thrive in this demanding landscape. We are part of that long tradition, adding our small efforts to centuries of accumulated knowledge, maintaining the old ways that have proven their worth through countless winters. Sleep loosens its hold very gradually as the night moves toward conclusion. We begin to drift closer to the surface of consciousness, not yet awake, but no longer deeply asleep, moving through the lighter stages of rest where dreams become more vivid. Still, we do not wake, not yet, allowing the process to unfold naturally, trusting our body to know when the time is right. The bedroom is still dark, still quiet, still warm, and there is no reason to leave its comfort. We rest on, peaceful and secure, held safe by the house we prepared so carefully, warmed by the fires we tended so, comforted by the blankets and pillows that serve their purpose perfectly. Tonight, we prepared the house for winter. Tonight, the long night passed safely. Tonight, we rest. The house holds us through these final hours of darkness, patient and faithful. The fires burn their last warmth into the cold night. The walls stand firm against winter's test. The sealed windows keep comfort inside and cold outside. The stacked wood waits ready for tomorrow's needs, and we sleep on deeply and peacefully, exactly as we intended when we began our evening preparations, sealing windows and stacking firewood for the long nights ahead. Everything is ready. Everything is exactly as it should be. The long night passes safely. The long night passes safely. The long night passes safely. And so our night in the mountain house comes to its gentle close. The windows are sealed, the firewood stacked and burning, the preparations complete. The house stands warm and secure against the winter darkness, exactly as it has stood through countless seasons, sheltering rest and holding peace in its ancient walls. We leave it now to its quiet vigil, the fires tending themselves through the remaining hours, the snow falling soft outside, while all within remains safe and still. You have traveled with me through this evening of simple preparation, through the lighting of fires and the sealing of windows, through soup and bread, and the slow settling into rest. Perhaps you have found some measure of calm in these quiet tasks, some easing of the day's tensions, some doorway into the deep sleep that waits patiently for you now. That was always the intention, to create a space where rest becomes possible, where the mind can release its grip on waking concerns and allow the body to do what it knows how to do. Take this peace with you now as you drift toward your own sleep, in your own place, beneath your own blankets. Let the memory of the mountain house and its steady warmth accompany you into dreams, a shelter you can return to whenever rest feels elusive, whenever the world demands too much and quiet seems too far. If this journey brought you comfort, if these words helped carry you closer to the rest you need, I would be grateful if you would subscribe. There are many more nights like this waiting, many more places to visit in search of peace and deep sleep, many more gentle stories to guide you toward rest. Your subscription helps these stories reach others who need them, others searching for calm in a world that rarely offers it freely. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your evening, for trusting these words to guide you toward. May your sleep be deep and untroubled. May your dreams be gentle, and may you wake refreshed and renewed, ready for whatever the day may bring. Until we meet again in another quiet place, another peaceful evening, rest well. The long night passes safely. The long night passes. The long night passes safely. Good night.